Hi, hello, everybody. Welcome or welcome back to African Hosa ASMR. So, today's video is a requested video by one or two of you guys. And the question was, we would like to have a video where you tell us more about your experience and life in Japan. How did you find it? Was it good? How did you get there? All that. I will be answering those questions just for you. And that's what today's video is all about. But I would like to disclose that I have made and released this other "Can I tell you a secret? Can I tell you a secret?" video. And here it is. In this video, I was just talking about my life story, basically how I grew up and what has happened throughout my life since I was born up until this year. And I did touch up on my life in Japan and how I got there in that video. So if you'd like to check it out, you can absolutely check out that "Can I Tell You a Secret?" video to learn more about me. And just want to let you into my world. And I do not like planning this kind of videos. I just love to talk and let things be and come naturally to me. So where do I begin? Let's just begin from when I was applying to go to Japan, the application process, how I got there, and then all that. So I was doing my honors year, which is my final year in varsity. I was thinking, what's going to happen now? Sending job applications to a lot of companies with no luck. And in South Africa, the unemployment rate is that high. And the unfortunate thing is that for you to make it by, as you need connections, or you need to come from a well-known family, or you should be willing to lay on your back for you to get the job, or bribe for you to get a job. That's not always the case though, but the unfortunate part is that most of the time, sometimes you should be willing to do that in order for you to get the job, allegedly. So yeah, it's not going to be a depressing video, I promise. It's just, yeah. So I was applying for jobs with no luck at all. And as I was still applying, you get those emails at school where it's like, would you like to apply for this scholarship? Would you like to apply for this bursary? There's this opportunity here and there. So I saw this email and it said, would you like to study and work in Japan? Well, here's an opportunity for you. Fill out this application form and send it through. And I was like, what harm can it be? It's a good opportunity for me to work and study in Japan. That means when I come back to South Africa, I will be at an advantage because it's more advanced in terms of science and technology. I will be learning a lot, both from school and the corporate world in Japan. Let me definitely apply for this. I took the application form, I downloaded it, I downloaded the application form and I went back to my apartment. When I got there, I was just like filling in the application form. I didn't look at how many pages it had. I was just like filling in as I was going by, and I'm like, why is this form not ending? Why is it so long? I kept on filling in my personal details, filling this, filling that. I was like, okay, let me just check how long this application form is. And when I see, I was like, so I have to write an entire proposal, what subject I want to be working on, who I want to be supervised by, which institution I want to go to. I don't know the university professors in Japanese institutions or anything like that. That means I have to go on the internet and look up the professors in the university, who they are, and I don't know them personally, in terms, not like personally, I don't know them character wise to know, okay, this is a great person to serve as a supervisor or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing this. Let me continue applying for jobs in South Africa, because this is just like, it's too long, it's too much. And I let the form be. I just like forgot about it and I went on with the rest of my life. And around Easter, I went to church for the Easter service, right? And there's this lady from church who goes to the same university. I go to a different university from my sister, my younger sister, who is a year apart from me, the one on the wedding vlog, if you've seen the wedding vlog video. So a person who goes to the same university with her, and we go to the same church. We've never spoken to each other, and they go to the same university. Of course, she knows my sister, and my sister talks about me to her, and I talk about her to my friends as well. So we all talk about our families to each other. So, and then she came up to me and she was like, hey, your sister says you're such a bookworm, and funny enough, I saw this application for an opportunity to go study and work in Japan, and I thought of you. I will forward it to you via email. Just give me your email address, and then I'll forward it to you. And I was like, is this what it's called? And then she was like, yeah. Do you know about it? Did you apply? And I was like, yeah, I just saw the application form. It's just way too long. I don't want to apply for it. And then she said, what? No, you should definitely apply. I'm like, it's too long. I don't want to. She was like, okay, but you should definitely apply. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for you. And I was just not having it. I was like, sure, but no. It was like, you know what? Let's apply together. Let us apply together. I'm gonna keep reminding you. Let us apply together. It was like, okay, sure, let's apply together. And she kept reminding me, like, let's apply. And then I applied with her, and we sent our applications through. And I had to write a topic, what I want to work on, the objectives, hypothesis, predicted outcomes, like the materials and method. Like, I was basically writing a dissertation before you even do the work. And I googled like universities, top universities specializing in what I studied, and I googled professors who specialize on that, and I looked at their publications. I see their writing styles. I'm like, okay, who do I want? I go stalk them on LinkedIn to see what they look like. Do they look scary? Do they look, And I found one. I was like, this is the perfect one for me, and I wrote their names, and I was like, I'm gonna be supervised by them. So after you submit your application form with all that information, what they do is that your application is looked at by the Japanese government or the Japanese embassy here in South Africa. So the Japanese look at all the applications, and they look at the ones which they like or would like to take it to the next step. And then after they like your application, they give you a call and say you have an opportunity to go write a test. You have to be tested. You have a right to write an English test and a mathematics test. English and mathematics, that's what you are being tested on. The mathematics is high school maths, and English, I think it's also high school English. I'll explain it later how it went, but you have to write those two tests. So we both got a call that you have to write a test. You're given options to write a test in either Cape Town or you have to write it in Johannesburg. So you choose which place you would write it in. You don't choose. I mean, it's already chosen for you based on the address that you put when you are applying for that, bursary. And I put in my Eastern Cape address, home. And therefore, we had to go write a test. She also is from the Eastern Cape, that girl. And then we all both had to go write the test in Cape Town. And that's where you write it from. They give you the address. Meet us at this auditorium in the University of Cape Town. All the details are being sent in the email. That's where you write the test. So I'm at home now. It's during the holiday season from school. I'm at home. It was around June, I think, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I was at CUTA in varsity. Because I was at CUTA, I already had small savings that I had from tutoring, and I used them to travel for writing the test. And thankfully I had my aunt who had been studying marine biology, and she was doing her PhD in marine biology in the same institution. So she had an apartment that she was staying in there. So I went to my aunt and I slept over her place. And the girl who had inspired me to apply with her, also we both slept at my aunt's place. So in the morning, my aunt is familiar with the institution. She just took us to the auditorium we were supposed to be writing. We wrote the tests, the two tests: mathematics, high school maths, all the different sections of maths. I'll just put the different topics that it had here. So this is basically what it's about. Basically high school maths. I mean, you passed high school. The thing is, the girl I was applying with didn't do mathematics in high school. She did mathematics literacy. And in that test, it doesn't matter whether you did mathematics or mathematics literacy, you had to write the mathematics test. So yeah. And then after that, we wrote the English test, and her English is really good, and she went to a private school. So yeah, she's amazing. Her English is amazing. And she did well on that one. And after that, we were told that, okay, tomorrow we are going to have an interview. Like, the Japanese people were looking at your application. They said they're going to have an interview on a boardroom with the people who made it the following day. So what's going to happen is that later that day, they're going to give us calls. If you get a call, you're being informed that you didn't make it. And if you do not receive a call later that day, that means you made it. You should show up the following day for an interview with the Japanese government in this other boardroom. They gave us the address once again. And later that day, the girl I went with received the call. She didn't make it. And that was the end of it for her. And I did not receive the call. The following day, I showed up for the interview. I think she was just there for me. She was like, I'm so happy you made it. I was like, I'm so devastated you didn't make it. I was so like, I just wanted us to be in this together. Then I showed up the following day for the interview. The interview is based on your application, the work that you said you're gonna go do when you get there. They are just basically interviewing you based on your proposal, because you're writing a proposal basically. And they have a specialist who specializes in your field, who's just testing your knowledge based on your proposal, your hypothesis, how do you plan on achieving this, blah 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 blah. And and then after that, they just ask you general questions like, why should we pick you? Out of all the people, why should we pick you? What will you offer? Like, those kind of questions, like a job interview. And that went well. And after it went well, they call you and said, yes, everything went well. Now we are sending those people who the interview went well to their applications through to the Japanese institutions they applied to. There are a lot of selection stages in this application. I thought it was just a one-time thing. I was like, why am I still here? I was sticking on because I already invested a lot of money going back and forth to the interviews. It was like, okay, there's no backing down from now. I'm getting this. I'm doing it. And then after that, they sent our applications to the institutions in Japan. And you have a choice to select any institution, whether it's English speaking or Japanese speaking institution. I did not want to select a strictly Japanese institution. I selected an international university in Japan where there are international students, and it's a mixture, not just only international, it's a mixture, and everything is being taught in English, and you have to write everything in English. I didn't want strictly Japanese because Nihongo totemo muzukashi. That's why. And then after that, they send our applications. So if they send your application to the institution, the person you wanted to be supervised by looks at your application, and if they like your proposal, they're like, okay, cool, I'm willing to interview this person, and just to test them and see if I would like them to be under my supervision as a student, a master's student. So I sent it through, and if it goes through, you're called again. And I was called again, this time around in Pretoria. Everybody has to go in Pretoria now. We didn't get a choice between Cape Town and Pretoria or Johannesburg. It was now in Pretoria. Go to the Japanese embassy over there and have your interview with the Japanese institution where you're being supervised, where you're being interviewed by the person or the professor who's going to be supervising you. So I'm sitting there, and there's this other guy who is also sitting there. We applied to the same institution, so we're just sitting there. It's different interviews with different institutions on different days. So I'm sitting there with this guy, and we're waiting. Where you have an interview is a different room with a big screen, and you just sit there, and then you're being asked questions, and you wear like professional outfits, and it looks amazing. I'm not sure if I still have a picture. I posted a picture on social media a long time ago. If I still have it, I'm gonna put it somewhere here. And then I was called, like, you come in. And then I go in, and then I sit down, and I'm getting ready for my interview. As I'm sitting down, the chair slips I was wearing a skirt and the chair slips. I'm like trying to sit down. It's like the chair with the wheels at the bottom, like a rotating chair. I'm trying to sit, it moves back, and then I sit on the floor. My legs are flying up like this. I was like, oh, okay, this is a disaster. And then I get up, I take the chair again, I sit, and it was like awkward. I'm like, okay, I ruined this. I ruined it. And the person interviewing me was sitting there, and I was like, this does not look like the person I wanted to be supervised by. That's what I have in my mind, because you choose, right? So I had to go on the internet, and I'm like, I stalked the person I want to be supervised by, but that does not look like the person. Or maybe they look different, but they're so different. And then I was like, okay, just play it cool, play it cool. They sat down there, and then I sat there, played it cool. And as I was sitting, and I was like, konnichiwa, because I googled like on the internet how to say hi in Japanese, how to say this in Japanese, just try to first impression. And then the person sitting on the other side interviewing me said, and then who are you? And I was like, I'm CV so and so, smiling. And then it's like, this is not the student I'm supposed to be having an interview with. And I was like, what's going on? I'm CV, I was called in to come and have an interview with you. And then he said, you're not a guy. I'm supposed to be interviewing a guy. It was like he was like, his face was like, he didn't have a warm face at all. And I was like, oh, I mean, my name is sometimes confused with guy names. I'm a girl. And then he read on the book, are you so and so? And I was like, oh no, I'm not. I'm supposed to be having an interview with so and so. I was like, and then the guy sitting up the interviews, the guys like came in and was like, oh, sorry, it's not you, it's the other guy's interview who's supposed to be having, you're gonna have your interview after him. And then I stood up like, I'm sorry. And then I went out, and then they called the guy in to come, and then they started having the interview. And I was like, okay, I mean, I still have a chance. I haven't had an interview with my person that I'm supposed to be, interviewing with. And then when it was now my time, I was like, all calmed down, just walked in. And then when I was supposed to be sitting down, I made sure that I held the handles of the chair, and I sat down comfortable. And then he was so nice. Hello, my name is Professor so-and-so. Nice to meet you. So tell me more about yourself. I really found your work fascinating. I was like, oh my God, he's so nice. He's so sweet. He's so warm, so welcoming. And I was not scared at all. I was just like, hi, I'm so-and-so. I studied here. This is what I did. I applied here, and this is how I found you. This is what I want to do, and whatnot. And then he started asking me like questions related to what I wanted to do with him. And then I was busy, like, and it went well. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Like, I feel like it went well, and this is such a sweet, gentle, kind soul. And then it went well, and then we went out. I went out, and after I went out, we were like, okay, cool, guys, I'm gonna let you know in a couple of months if you made it through. You're gonna be leaving for Japan in around September, but we're gonna let you know around July or something like that, end of July, early August. And then July comes, nothing happens. Early August, they finally let us know that you are in. And then they said, okay, now that you're in, we need to, I might be confusing the months or how long everything, but we were told that now that you're in, you need to send us your passport. Funny enough, I just made a passport. I was not making a passport to go to Japan. I made a passport to go to Swaziland, and I had made that passport for going to Swaziland. And after that, I ended up not going to Swaziland for what I wanted to go to Swaziland for. And I was like, wow, making a passport in South Africa takes like forever. Now I'm being asked for my passport. I already have it. Imagine if I didn't have it. It would have been a babes Wodumo situation, not being able to attend the BETs. You know what I mean? They was like, we need your passport. And I'm like, I'm in the Eastern Cape. And then you guys are based in Pretoria. How is that going to work? They said it's either you bring it to us on foot, or you can send it via post. And I was like, they were like, you can courier it to us. I was like, this is my passport. This is my identity. What if something happens? What's going to happen? Like, I was like feeling skeptical. Is this even a genuine thing? Is this just a real thing? I can't just be couriering my passport to random people. What if it's just a random company, then I never get my passport back? You know, I think identity theft is a real thing. And I called the girl that inspired me to apply, and she said, I know of someone who went there last year, so I'm gonna call them and ask them about that, or I can give you their contact details. So I was like, give me their contact details, please. She gives me their contact details, their name and last name, contact details, and then I look up this person on social media to see if they're really in Japan, or is this really a genuine thing. And I could see them attending conferences and under the same name and out and about in Japan. Life is good, everything is good. I was like, okay, looks genuine. And then I asked this person, hey, I applied for this, and then they want me to courier it. And she was like, no, it's really a genuine thing. It's really a genuine thing. I mean, you can get a bus and go there to drop it by foot, or you can just courier it. It's up to you, but it's actually a genuine, like, bursary opportunity. And I couriered my passport to them because they wanted it for making us visas. Everything was prepared for me by the Japanese embassy. So they prepared our passports, and then they were like, a week before we go, they were like, we're having a send-off in Pretoria. That's where you guys will be getting your passports. That is where you'll be getting your passport. So a week before I left, I have an uncle, a very rich uncle who stays in Sandton. And he left and he never looked back. He's like, I'm never going back to the Eastern Cape at this point. Oh my goodness. I went to his house and to Johannesburg for the send-off. And then that's where we'll be getting our passports from. And bear in mind, all this back and forth, come here, go there, come, all out of your own pocket. They are not paying for anything. It's all has to be your money. Just bear that in mind. So the only thing that they did was to prepare the visas for us at this point. And it even says so in their application that the only thing they're going to be responsible for is when you're at the airport. That's when they start taking responsibility. Once you're at the airport and you go to Japan, you completely rely on them, starting from them. And then after that, we go there, and then that was a send-off party organized by them, and we had to meet with other like South Africans who are also going to Japan, because we don't know each other, and they started mingling. Hey, I'm so and so. Hey, I'm so and so. This is where I study. This is what I'm going to be doing. All that. And after we were done with the send-off, go back home. you start packing and getting ready. That's what I did. You have your visa, you have your passport, everything is cool. You now go back home, and then they give you your ticket via email. This is going to be your ticket. You leave at this time, blah blah blah. And then I packed and I went to the airport to leave for Japan. Our flight was supposed to be leaving at around 3, 4, 5, around that time. And then I'm getting there. I was like super early, didn't want to be late. I don't want to anything miss my flight, international. Everything was organized, and I check in. As I was checking in, I was told that, yeah, South African Airways is getting delayed. Come back and check in at 10. Imagine being there at 3 o'clock. I'm told we're going to be leaving at 10 at night. That's how delayed it was. And had to sit there at the airport for those hours, and then the guy who had an interview with recognized me as I was sitting there, and also he was also told the same thing. He goes there to sit with me, and then other guys, because I had my interview in Cape Town, right? Other guys who had their interviews in Joburg all know each other. They recognized him, and then they also went there to sit with us, and we were just sitting there waiting together. It was like 4, 5 of us, and we were sitting there. And the only person who made it, who interviewed in Cape Town, I couldn't see anyone except for me. And then it was only just me. And was like, okay, all the other ones were the ones who had their interviews in Gauteng. So we were just sitting there chilling, and and then at 10 we tried checking in, and then we checked in. And when we go upstairs for boarding, the other guys recognized more guys from inside there and whatnot. They started mingling. And then I recognized one person that I was interviewing with in Cape Town. And there was this other nice guy. I don't want to mention their names because I don't want you guys to go stalking them on my friends list on social media. So I don't like mentioning names for that reason. So yeah. This guy I was interviewing with was like, yo girl, you made it. I was like, yes dude, I made it, you made it, we made it. So it's like basically we're the only ones who made it, who interviewed that side, because we don't know any of these people. Like, yeah, basically us. And we started being like buddies with my best bud. So yeah, we get into our flights, we go to Japan. Before I see people going to ATMs and like getting money out of their accounts and whatnot. I had 1.7 in my account, and I was like, I can't take out all of my money, because if I take it out, and I'm gonna be stuck there for years, and now my bank is empty. What if I reach negative balance, because the bank charges on a monthly basis even if you don't take money out? So let me leave 1,000 would be more than enough for me, even if I live for years, and then just take out the 700 on the side. I took out the 700 and then I exchanged it for Japanese yen, and other people were drawing like thousands and thousands. We're ready. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. And yeah, we go to Japan. And when we get there, we have people already waiting for us. They take us to the nice hotel where we're going to be staying. And then for 1 week, all the Africans from all the African countries were there for like seminars and whatnot, telling us about life in Japan, what to expect, culture, all that. so that we can fit in. You know, there are many differences between Africans and Japanese, how they carry themselves, all that. So we're just like getting fit in terms of like how to adjust to the life in Japan for about a week. And food was all catered for, everything was awesome. And this other day, random day, when we were there in that week, we were told that, okay, all the South Africans who are here should go that side. Someone wants to talk to you. And then people from the South African embassy come up to us and say they want us to go to the South African embassy to say hi. You know, the South African embassy there in Japan. There's going to be a car that's going to come and fetch us. And I was like, yes, cool. We're gonna go and say hi to the Japanese, to the South African embassy in Japan. That's awesome. And then we wait there for the car. My government never disappoints. We wait there for the car does not show up, and we were told to walk. The meeting has already been organized. We should walk to where we were. Bear in mind, I'm wearing my purple high heels. If you've seen my videos, those are stilettos. Thin high heel. Had no idea where we were walking. It was so hot. And I was walking in heels. Other people had high heels when we were in a seminar, but other people always bring changing shoes. I never bring changing shoes because I prepare myself. I know if I'm gonna walk in heels, I'm gonna walk in heels the whole day, and if I'm wearing flat shoes, I'm gonna wear flat shoes the whole day. So now we told the car is not gonna come. I didn't plan on we're gonna be walking, so I didn't bring my flat shoes from the hotel. I'm wearing these high heels. We walk. I'm like, when are we going to get there? We are sweating. I have no idea of where we were walking. And then I was like, I can't keep walking in these heels. What do I do? There was this other girl who had high heels on as well, and then she changed to her changing shoes. I was like, girl, your high heels were not as high as these heels that I'm wearing. Can I at least change to your high heels? Maybe they'll be more comfortable. What shoe size are you? Then she says, she's a size 4. I'm a size 3. And I was like, they won't be that different. And I was like, okay, cool. Can I please wear your shoes? Like, absolutely, you can wear my shoes. And then I changed to her shoes. Yeah, they were big. As I was walking like I'm wearing flip-flops, they were uncomfortable to walk in as well. I was like, thank you so much, but I don't think I can carry on like this. I had to take off my shoes and walk barefoot in Japan. And after that, I was walking barefoot. Oh my god, in the heat, and the sole of my foot was like scorching. I had to like walk like I'm tiptoeing. Everybody's feeling sorry for me. Like, why didn't you bring changing shoes? Like, I didn't know we're gonna be walking there. So yeah, we get there. My feet are like from walking, and then I asked for a restroom, and then I put my feet in the sink. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why. Put them in my sink. I soaked them a bit there, and then they gave me slippers. To wear, and then they told me to send the slippers back because they belong to the embassy. I should post them back when I get to my place. I should post them back. So I took the slippers and I wore the slippers from the embassy, and when we went back, we had to walk back again. Bayo, unjegus government was South Africa. Nasemazwini yadanisa. And then we walked back again. It was such a long walk. We walked somewhere about 40 to an hour, 40 minutes to an hour. That's how long we walk. We would walk, and we would be like get a place to sit down and gather ourselves, because the heat was too intense because of humidity and all that. And it was like it was around September, but the heat was like too intense. Oh, and because we missed our flight in South Africa by a lot of hours, we left at 10. When we get to China, our connecting flight is in Hong Kong, China. When we get to China, we couldn't get our flight anymore there because we already missed our flight because SAA was delayed. We were given a hotel to sleep in, and in that hotel they said we sleep in 2x2. So go find a person who you could be friends with or you're comfortable with sharing a room with. I slept. There's a girl from South Africa who came up to me and was like, can I please be your roommate? I was like, yes, girl. And then that's how I made a new friend again, she was actually Zulu, and she was going to study in Japan as well on the same bursary, but in a different institution, but we were friends. And after that, we were all friends. Like, we had this unity as South Africans. And after that, where was I? We walked from the embassy back to the hotel. I was wearing the slippers, and the time was amazing. And then after that, we finally got a chance to be sent to our institution. I do not know what happened to other people after that. I know about the rules and what happened to me. What happened to me was that I sent an English institution, right? And within that institution, you are assigned a tutor, not an academic tutor per se. It's just more like the term that they use for the tutor. It's someone who's Japanese, born and raised in Japan, who studies in the same institution as you. So when you're going to renew something, getting letters, or just going about to buy groceries, your day-to-day life, you don't know about anybody or anything. So that is your person to assist you. You want to go to the bank, you want to do something, that person helps you, just shows you around Japan, shows you the shops to go to, shows you where your classes are, like translates your Japanese letters for you and all that. So I got my tutor. My tutor's name is or was Matsura-san. Matsura-san, what a kind soul. I'll put a picture of Matsura-san. It was amazing. She was cool. And so I would ask Matsura-san, who is my tutor, assigned to me. So anything I need, assigned by the Japanese for me, was Matsura-san, who helped me out a lot and loved her. She was my Japanese friend. She spoke English. Oh, that's the important thing. This Japanese person who's assigned to is English speaking as well, so they can, show you everything around when you're registering. They told you this is the registration process, this is what you do, so that you don't get overwhelmed by everything. And yeah, Matsura-san showed me around and we do things together, blah, 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 blah. It was awesome. It was amazing. She was the kindest, sweetest soul. She still is. We're still in touch. Love her. Amazing. And after that, I settled in Japan, joined my classes, took classes. My supervisor was amazing. And we get a trial experiment whereby you are putting a trial of whatever proposal that you put in place, so that when they invest the money for you to carry out the actual experiment, you can see where the errors were, where you can improve, what can change, blah, 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 so that you don't invest all the money into something and then, there's something that doesn't go right, that could fail, which could have been avoided. At the end of your trial experiment, which takes about 6 months, you are given an entrance examination. An entrance examination is more like when you are defending your thesis, more like a defense presentation. So you are presenting on the findings of your trial experiment. This is what I found. This is what is going to happen. This is what I'm going to be doing. So you are in a boardroom in the institution filled with all the professors in your department and your professors, and they are asking you questions after, like you're presenting basically, and then they ask you questions after, and then they grade what you did. And then if you pass the entrance examination, you are free to go through to your masters, and if you fail, go back home. Bye. So after you've gone through all that, there's also still that there's a chance of going back home. The week of my entrance exam was one of my sister's weddings. I couldn't make it to my sister's wedding. I was having an entrance exam. I was like, I'm such a family oriented being, so it was like, it sucked for me not to make my sister's wedding. It sucked, but it was like, girl, you have to do this. So they sent me pictures of her wedding. Everything went well. It was an amazing wedding. The family had fun, but I'm not there. Thankfully for technology, I can maybe Photoshop myself in. Anyone with photoshopping skills who can Photoshop me in my family's sister's wedding, big sister's wedding, please. So yeah, and the entrance exam went well. I was able to do my my master's, graduated top of my class, took classes as well, everything is in English, graduated top of my class. My supervisor, my sensei, was so kind, so sweet. You can clearly tell that some professions are, you're distant for them. He was more like a father to us, an academic father, and I adored and respected him for that. He was amazing. Let me tell you that he was amazing, and I'm so grateful for that. And I've made a lot of friends. Japanese people are so kind, so sweet. The food, amazing. My favorite, sushi, and I love oysters. So every time we're having a braai or something like that, we would have in our department we'd have end of the semester parties. I would me and oysters. I'm eating only oysters there because, and sushi as well. It was fun, and there would also be sake. That's what they call alcohol. Imagine partying with your professors. That's what. So the Japanese would drink the alcohol, and other drinking Africans or international students would also drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. I'm the only one who doesn't drink alcohol. So they would buy non-alcoholic drinks for me. They make those provisions for me, which was super cool. So I would drink. And then I noticed that they turn pink when they were drunk. I went to one of my Japanese friends. Was like, "Are you okay?" He was turning pink. The more he drank, the more he turned pink. I was like, "Are you okay?" I was seriously worried. I thought there's something. No, I'm fine. We turned pink when we were drunk. That's something I didn't know. So yeah. And after that, everything went well. It was amazing. And one thing I would say is that I didn't know. I don't know why. I just assumed that there would be a salon that caters to black people. I'm pretty sure there would be hair products, for black hair. None of that was there. And when I came in, the girl I was telling you about who was there, who said everything is legit, met up with her, and she came in with a girl, a South African girl as well, who was her bestie. When they got to Japan, they ended up being besties, who, when she went to Japan, she went with a lot of hair products and a lot of e-fiber we call it fiber, with a lot of fiber and like a lot of things for her hair. But when she got hair there, she was like, I can't do this anymore. She just cut her hair to a cheese scalp. She just had a cheese scalp entirely. So that girl was like, girl, just take all my products. They could fit in a suitcase. Just take all my hair products. I took her hair products and I had to maintain my own hair. And yeah, that's what I would say. Just be prepared for that, or be prepared to buy things online and make sure that you know how to do your own hair. I've never done my own hair my entire life. My sisters do my hair when I go to the salon. The only thing I would normally do is comb my hair. So now I had to plait my own hair using the fiber that the girl has given to me, and I would plait my own hair using that fiber, and it looked a hot mess. I would like pull my scalp so hard, but when I'm pulling it, I don't feel it. And after I'm done with my hair, I'm like, oh, this is really hard, and I'm already done plaiting it. But I had to plait my own hair, and the nice thing about that is that nobody knows what a good hairstyle is supposed to look like. So whatever disastrous hairstyle I had, it looked normal, because they don't know what a good one is supposed to look like, which is what I liked about it. So I plait my own hair, and then after that, when I'm going around, one thing maybe other people might not like, but I actually didn't see anything wrong with, because to me it depends on how you approach a person, and also your exposure to something that dictates how I respond. You can tell when someone is genuine and respectful when doing something, most of the time. So I would find Japanese people coming to me like, kawaii, sugoi, and then try to touch my hair braids that I've braided myself, like, oh my god, sugoi. And sometimes they're like, are those dreadlocks? I'm like, yeah, definitely, it's dreadlocks. And then when I take down the braids, they're like, oh, did you cut your hair? And I'm like, yeah, I cut my hair. And then I put braids back on. What did you do? Your hair grew so fast. I'm like, yeah, my hair does that. That's why they call it black girl magic. Yeah. I honestly speaking, jokes aside, they really like adored the hair braids. And there were people, I know people sometimes say this, we would go to a lot of conferences in a lot of different places in Japan, your Nara, your Osaka, Kyoto, many places for doing your presentations with our professor. So some of the places we would go to tourist attraction sites where Matsura would go with me and show me, and some of these places people have never seen a black person in their entire life, and it's their first time seeing a black person with me. Like, can I take a picture with you? I know this might seem like what, but yeah, some people have never seen a black person face to face. So you'd find people who want to touch your hair, just want to admire your face, because they've never seen a black person face to face. And I did not take any offense to that. I was like, yeah, go ahead, do it. But I was actually cool with it. No worry about that. And it was so cool, so nice, so sweet. And Japan is so safe, and everybody's super respectful, and the law is the law. So I enjoyed just the atmosphere, everybody, the respect, their kindness. Everybody was so sweet. I loved Japan. Basically, I loved every minute of every second of it. And now institutions, they had fun. activities for international students. We would go around and then they take us places. For example, you'd go to Universal Studios free of charge, sleep in fancy hotels, eat fancy food, they just pay, pay 200. Imagine paying 200 for going to Universal Studios for a flight, which is basic 200, just I would say $20. Imagine paying $20 for going to Universal Studios, for sleeping in a fancy place, eating fancy food, and after that they take you to other places. You see a lot of beautiful people, have an amazing experience seeing Japanese weddings and like taking pictures. Everything was amazing. And then after that, there is, like I told you, it's work and school. The work is an unpaid internship. You get your allowance that they give you, and they provide you a place to stay and food to eat, and you would work for a specific company. But the other one that's mandatory to everybody is around summer vacation. So at least one of those summer vacation internships is mandatory for everyone to just have that experience. But after that, you also are given an opportunity to have a longer one during your stay if that's what you want. So the South Africans I came with, it's already established people with their own businesses, going there to do their MBAs. They didn't want any internship. They were just going there for studying and then coming back. So they went back. It was me and this other guy who's still in Japan till this day, who actually got internship that's after your studies, and he's still working there, and he says he's never coming back. He's really having the time of his life. And the other thing is, around December holidays, we would all gather together as South Africans. There's this other lady from South Africa who would go back home for a while, and when she comes back with South African food. So what. So close to December, and then after that we would go to a place. She stayed in Odaiba. So in her apartment in Odaiba, there was a braaiing area. She stayed in a big apartment in Odaiba. Okay, everything is glass, amazing. And then we would go there and have our braai for Christmas, blah blah blah. So she would go back home to go spend time with the family. She was a bit older, and just she was motherly to us, and then she'd go back to spend time with her own kids and whatnot. But she brought us stuff, because she constantly went back to South Africa, and then she would leave me with her keys. I'm having the time of my life with the most beautiful view in Odaiba when she was gone. And it was great. It was amazing, and everything was cool. And we had this unity, and then we came back, and unfortunately one of the guys we went to study with, his name, I'm not going to mention his last name, but his name was Olani, and he loved the things that I also loved in Japan, because it was one thing I wanted to do in Japan was to go to Disneyland. And out of all the activities that was done by the institution, Disneyland was not one of them. I was I can't leave without ever going to Disneyland. I'm a Disney girl who grew up watching Disney movies, and I want to go to Disneyland. I can't miss that opportunity. So I was who do I go to Disneyland with? All the people that I'm here with, the South Africans, no, I can't go there, we can't do it. And then it was there's this South African guy who loves doing adventurous things. He was so adventurous in Japan. He was having the time of his life, enjoying everything, going around. And his name was Olani. he unfortunately passed away. So Xolani was like, hey Xolani, do you want to go to Disneyland? He was like, oh my god, I have been asking all these other South Africans that we're here with, like, can we go to Disneyland? They're like, no, I'm not gonna pay that amount of money to go to Disneyland. I'm too grown for that. And I didn't know who to go with. I wanted this for the longest time. Let's go to Disneyland. I went to Disneyland with Xolani. He was so kind, so sweet. And towards the end of completing his degree, I could see that there's something going on. And then he completed his degree, and then he went back home, and not even a week after he went back home, he unfortunately passed away. And I was still in Japan working in my internship. And then the other South Africans who had come back, like I told you, they went to his funeral, and he was laid to rest. And it broke my heart that I was not even there to attend the funeral. May his soul continue to rest in peace. I personally will never forget what a kind, sweet, and humble soul Xolani was. Rest in peace, Xolani. And after that, I did my internship. The people I did my internship with were so kind, so sweet. Oh my goodness, they were amazing. And in Japan, when you're working there, they even give you a car, but you have to have a Japanese driver's license. I didn't have a Japanese driver's license, so I had to use a bike for going everywhere. So the company just gave me a cooler bike, you know what I mean, with more brakes on it and all that, just like a cooler bike than the one that I had, which was easier to just easy on the feet to move around. And I had the most amazing time. A lot of traveling, and I had no idea of where I was going, how I'm gonna get there. All I just needed to do, just go to the train station, like I'm going to this place. I buy a ticket, and then I go back to security guards. I'm going to this place, point me in a direction, I go there. I'm going to this place, point me in a direction, I go there. Had no idea what was going on. It's a miracle that I always ended up being where I was supposed to be, because I had no idea. And there are vending machines, just like put in money, just get your drinks, put in money, get your chips. There are vending machines everywhere, which is very, very convenient. And when you're traveling using a bus, public transportation in terms of bus, you don't even have to bother like paying the driver. No. You take your money. If you're not using a card, just take your money, you put it there, and then the machine calculates the money, and then it pops out your change. You take your change, you take your ticket, you go sit down, you go out when you're supposed to be going out. Everything was like super cool. The technology is so advanced. They already I think they're starting to put them in some shops here in South Africa. At least I've seen one at Mr. Price at the mall, but I'm not sure if they're still using it. It looks like they were experimenting with them. But in Japan, the self-checkout, which we don't have in South Africa. So I know like maybe other countries or advanced, developed countries have them, but we don't really have them. At least where I am, we don't have them in South Africa. Self-checkout, where you just like did it for yourself, get your things in a packet, and then you leave. And everything was super cool. Like, I don't know what to say. Everybody was so nice. And one time, I love listening to music. One time I was doing my experiment, I was like so tired, like close to midnight, so tired. I got out of the lab, wanted to continue again the following morning, because this experiment, wait for 6 hours, titrate, and just leave your solution for this hour. And then I had to come back in the morning. So I was like, I'm so tired. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. I've been standing since 6 a.m. Let me just go home and sleep, and then come back here again at 6 a.m. and I was like, I need to buy bread. I'm not gonna cook, I'm just gonna go buy bread. I went to the shop to go buy bread, and you have like your card, your point card. They also have point cards that side. So you have your point card, your bank card, or your money. So I give my point card, and then I take my point card, I put it in my wallet, I take the bread, I leave this music blasting in my ears. I'm like, I take the bread, and then after taking the bread, I'm like, thank you. And then I put on my earphones, I'm like listening to music, and I'm walking out and going home, and I'm walking. I walk really fast, by the way, so I don't hear anything because I'm listening to music. As I was walking past, I hear this tap on my shoulder, and I'm like looking back, and then it's the teller at the shop. They are breathing heavily. Pay, you did not pay. And I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot to pay. And they were following me, like probably yelling. I couldn't hear anything, and I paid. They're like, thank you. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was really sorry. But everybody was so sweet. Honestly, very kind people. I would absolutely recommend studying in Japan to anybody, and I would recommend working in Japan. They're so kind and so sweet, and gentle souls, and that is what I would say to anybody. I had lots of fun, and after everything I had to come back, and when I came back, the pandemic, unemployment, all that, for that video that explained everything about that, I would recommend checking out the video I recommended. So yeah, that was my life in Japan. Time of my life. Loved every minute of every second of it. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. It was a very long one though, but I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed filming it for you, and just, you know, taking me back memory lane on my time and experience in Japan. It was really good. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. I will catch you on the next video. Goodbye.